All right, let's look at solving general equations. We're going to, again, stick with over the integers. Makes things a little bit more complicated, but um, the process is the same. So there's three basic steps to how you want to solve these. First thing you want to do is simplify both sides. Simplify both sides of the equation. So make them look as nice as you can, combine like terms, distribute, all that stuff individually each side. The second thing you want to do is to get one variable term only. And you might think, well, if I've simplified, haven't I combined like terms? Well, you might have a variable term on each side of the equation, and so we'll only want a variable term on one side of the equation. And then the last thing, isolate the variable. Now, within this step of isolating the variable, there's two typical steps if you've done the rest. The first step is to get rid of the constant, and we do that by adding or subtracting. Remember, the constant term is a term without a variable. And the second thing is get rid of the coefficient, and we'll do that by dividing. So make both sides look nice. Get one variable term only. So if you have variable terms on both sides, get rid of one of them. And then isolate that variable term. To do that, you're going to start by getting rid of the constant and get rid of the coefficient. So I'm going to look at some problems, and they're going to just progressively get more complicated. So we'll start with some simple problems. Let's say we want to solve x minus 3 equals 11. Say, okay. First, I'm going to make both sides look as simple as they are. They are already as simple. Make sure I only have one variable term. Well, I got one here, so that's it. And then I want to isolate it. So I want to get rid of this constant. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides of the equation. And that's going to give me x equals 14. Done. Problem solved. So remember, problems are going to get a little bit more complicated as we move on. Let's say I have 2x plus 5 equals negative 13. I want to solve that. So again, I'm going to start with, simplify both sides. Well, they're already simpled. One variable term, already got that. Now I want to isolate this x. So notice I have a 2 and a 5, and so I have to decide which one do I want to get rid of first. And you start by getting rid of the constant, the one you're adding or subtracting. So I'm going to start by subtracting 5 from both sides. And that's going to give me 2x equals negative 18. Then I need to get rid of this multiplier of 2. So since it's a multiplier, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And that's going to give me x equals negative 9. So things are getting a little bit more complicated. We've got 2 steps in this problem. Remember, it's going to keep getting more complicated as we go through here. So let's say I want to solve 3x minus 10 equals 5x plus 4. And solve that equation. So again, simplify both sides. Well, both sides are as simple as they can get. These are no like terms, so I can't simplify them. So now I want only x's on one side. Now I'm going to do something here, I hope. I'm going to duplicate this problem, maybe, and do it twice. All right, so I'm going to do it. Oops, what's going on? Here we go. All right, so I'm going to do it once, one way, and then I'm going to do it a second time the other way. And we should get the same answer either way. So the first way I'm going to do this is I'm going to say, let's get rid of this 5x term. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. To get rid of an entire term, you use adding or subtracting, depending on whether it's positive or negative. So since this is a positive 5x, I'm going to use a negative 5x or subtract 5x to get rid of it. Now when I do that over here, I'm going to get a negative 2x minus 10 equals 5x, and negative 5x makes 0 plus 4, which is 4. And then I'm just going to solve this like I have been. I'm going to add 10, try to get my x term, my x alone. So that negative 2x is going to drop down. Negative 10, positive 10 makes 0. Again, look, I got rid of the entire term. I did it by adding or subtracting. And then I want to get rid of the multiplier, negative 2, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. And that's going to give me x equals negative 7. So I'm going to do this problem again, but instead of getting rid of the 5x on the right, I'm going to start off by getting rid of the 3x on the left. Other than that, we're going to see how that's going to change the problem. So I'm going to get rid of this 3x over here. Remember, we only want one x term, so that's going to cancel it out. And it's going to leave me negative 10 equals 5 minus 3, 2x plus 4. So now I only have one term with a variable, and now it's on the right-hand side, and now I want to solve this. So again, I got a 2 and I got a 4. I want to get x by itself, so I need to start by getting rid of this constant. So I'm going to get rid of that 4. So positive 4, so I'm going to get rid of it by subtracting 4. Again, I want to get rid of the entire term, so I'm going to do it by adding or subtracting. That's going to give me negative 14 equals positive 2x. And again, my 4's cancel out. Now I want to get rid of this multiplier of 2. Since it's a multiplier, I'm going to divide by 2. I don't know why I wrote that. Divide by 2. And so that will give me x equals negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. The exact same answer. So whether you get rid of the term on the right or you get rid of the term on the left, you should get the same answer both ways. Now, the way I prefer is always make it so that you get a positive coefficient, so that you don't have more sign changing than you absolutely have to have. Notice here I had a positive 14. I divided by a negative 2. That positive 14 became a negative 7. So I had the sign change happen. Whereas this was a negative 14. I divided by positive 2. And it stayed negative 7. So there was no sign change at the end. Whereas here I did have a sign change at the end. Positive 14 became a negative 7. So, little things like that can kind of trip you up. Looking for easier ways to do it is probably your best bet. All right, so let's look at a really complicated one. So let's say 4 times x minus 3 equals 5 times let's see, what do we want to do? Okay. Let's make that a minus. Sorry, this is a problem with working with integers, is I have to make it come out to be an integer. So make that a minus 3. I think that'll work. So we'll see. If it doesn't work, we can try again. So first thing I want to do is simplify both sides. So I need to start by distributing here, and distributing here. Let's see how that works. So 4 times x, 4x, 4 times negative 3, negative 12, equals 5 times 1, 5, 5 times negative 2, negative 10x. And then we got a negative 3 on there. Make sure you don't multiply the 5 times the negative 3. It's not in the parentheses. So I'm going to clean these up. Well, there's not much to do on this one. But on this one, you know, I like to put the x term in front. And then 5 and negative 3 make positive 2. All right. So now I want to solve this. And if you go my way, or you know, you just like moving things on your letters on the left. A lot of times we'll say we'll move the x term over here, but really what you're doing is you're canceling it out here, and at the same time you're creating a new value here. So I'm going to add 10x here. That'll cancel that out. Remember, to get rid of the whole term, you have to do the opposite of it. So since I added 10 over there, I'm going to come over here, add 10 over there. 10 and 4 make 14x minus 12 equals, those cancel out, positive 2. And now I want to get rid of this 12. I'm going to isolate the x. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides. That's going to give me 14x equals 14. And then, oh, look, it's going to work out nice. Divide both sides by 14. And so x equals 1. And just like in previous problems, we can check this answer if we want to. You know, if I want to check it, what I would do is I would say 4 times 1 minus 3. Does that equal 5 times 1 minus 2 times 1 minus 3? Well, this is negative 2, so 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. This is 1 minus 2, so negative 1. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. And then minus 3. Well, negative 5 and 3 more negatives is a negative 8. So that does work. So our answer is positive 1. And then that is work. So these are the steps you're going to use. Simplify both sides. Get one variable term only. So if you have variables on both sides, you have to cancel out one of those. Remember, you do that by adding or subtracting based on whether you want to whether the term is positive itself, so you'll subtract, or it's negative and you'll add. And then isolate that single variable by getting rid of any constants that are with it. And again, if you don't have any constants, that's great. You can just jump right down to make sure the coefficient, when I say get rid of the coefficient, what I mean is make it 1. So make that 1. All right, so that's how you solve those